And we are live. Hi guys, it's been a while. I didn't plan on returning this soon. I gotta be honest, I didn't want to come back this early, but something happened, alright? And I guess we all know what I'm talking about. Eric from the Grease Goblins channel decided to join me once again. And yeah, we're going to talk about George R. R. Martin's blog update today. Which he has since deleted. So it's a crazy day. On that one. Oh, he was very quick. Or HBO was rather quick, I think. Just the timing on that, you know. They just released a huge podcast episode with Brian Condell where they explicitly talked about deviations and adaptation and, you know, the kind of challenges you have to endure to make a television show, and then he released that huge blog post. I figured since, you know, he's now deleted the blog update, I would just read it all out and then we'll talk about it all. We'll see what it's gonna be interesting to see what you have to say, Eric.
Why are our streams are never positive?
I know, and it's a huge part of, you know, why I was not here anymore for a good while. I just needed a break from all the bitching and all the crying, and you know, and here we are.
Ricky, but like, even if you think about it, it's specifically when we go on live on your channel. Okay, yeah. I was like looking back at all the episodes you did, and I was like, this is pain, man.
It's if you look at it, it's so funny. We want to go back and forth with the streams. And I think we only did 2 streams on my channel.
Yeah, because I wasn't here. I wasn't here for episode 3, and then we did episode 1, 5, and then we were gonna do, I think, 7 or 8 on your channel, and then we were just like, "Fuck it, the episodes suck," and we were just like, "Well,
whatever." So anyway, let's do this, huh? Let's do this. I'll read it. And then we'll go from there. George R. R. Martin writes, "Beware the butterflies. Back in July, I promised you some further thoughts about Blood and Cheese and Maelor the Missing. After my commentary on the first 2 episodes of House of the Dragon Season 2, A Son for a Son and Rhaenyra the Cruel. Those were terrific episodes, well written, well directed, powerfully acted. A great way to kick off the new season, fans and critics alike seem to agree. There was only one aspect of the episode that drew significant criticism: the handling of Blood and Cheese and the death of Prince Jaehaerys. From the commentary I saw online, opinion was split there. The readers of Fire and Blood found the sequence underwhelming, a disappointment, watered down from what they were expecting. Viewers who had not read the books had no such problems. Most of them found the sequence a real gut punch, tragic, horrifying, nightmarish, etc. Some reported being reduced to tears. I found myself agreeing with both sides. In my book, Aegon and Helaena have 3 children, not 2. The twins Jaehaerys and Jaehaera are 6 years old. They have a younger brother, Maelor, who is 2. When Blood and Cheese break in on Helaena and the kids, they tell her that they are debt collectors come to exact revenge for the death of Prince Lucerys, a son for a son. As Helaena has 2 sons, however, they demand that she choose which one should die. She resists and offers her own life instead, but the killers insist it has to be a son. If she does not name one, they will kill all 3 of the children. To save the life of the twins, Helaena names Maelor. But Blood kills the older boy, Jaehaerys, instead, while Cheese tells little Maelor that his mother wanted him dead. Whether the boy is old enough to understand that is not at all certain. That's not how it happens on the show. There is no Maelor in House of the Dragon, only the twins. Blood can't seem to tell the twins apart, so Helaena is asked to reveal which one is the boy. I would also suggest that Helaena shows... I skipped one, sorry. You would think a glance up his PJs would reveal that without involving the mother. Instead of offering her own life to save the kids, Helaena offers them a necklace. Blood and Cheese are not tempted. Blood saws Prince Jaehaerys' head off. We are spared the sight of that. A sound effect suffices. In the book, he lops the head off with a sword. It is a bloody, brutal scene, no doubt. How not? An innocent child is being butchered in front of his mother. I still believe the scene in the book is stronger. The readers have the right of that. The two killers are crueler in the book. I thought the actors who played the killers on the show were excellent, but the characters are crueler, harder, and more frightening in Fire and Blood. In the show, Blood is a gold cloak. In the book, he is a former gold cloak stripped of his office for beating a woman to death. Book Blood is the sort of a man who might think making a woman choose which of her sons should die is amusing, especially when they double down on the wanton cruelty by murdering the boy she tries to save. Book Cheese is worse too. He does not kick a dog, true, but he does not have a dog, and he's the one who tells Maelor that his mom wants him dead. I would also suggest that Helena shows more courage, more strength in the book, by offering her own life to save her son. Offering a piece of jewelry is just not the same. As I saw it, the Sophie's Choice aspect was the strongest part of the sequence, the darkest, the most visceral. I hated to lose that, and judging from the comments online, most of the fans seem to agree. When Ryan Condal first told me that what he meant to do ages ago, back in 2022, might be, I argued against it for all these reasons. I did not argue long or with much heat, however. Excuse me. The change weakened the sequence, I felt, but only a bit, and Ryan had what seemed to be practical reasons for it. They did not want to deal with casting another child, especially a 2-year-old toddler. Kids that young will inevitably slow down production, and there would be budget implications. Budget was already an issue on House of the Dragon. It made sense to save money wherever we could. Moreover, Ryan assured me that we were not losing Prince Maelor, simply postponing him. Queen Helena could still give birth to him in Season 3, presumably after getting with child late in Season 2. That made sense to me, so I withdrew. Where are we? So I withdrew objections and acquiesced to the change. I still loved the episode and the blood and cheese sequence overall. Losing the Helena's Choice beat did weaken the scene, but not to any great degree. Only the book readers would even notice its absence. Viewers who had never read Fire and Blood would still find the scenes heartrending. Maelor did not actually do anything in the scene after all. How could he? He was only 2 years old. There is another aspect to the removal of the young princeling, however. And this is the one, this is where it gets really spicy. This is the one that has people talking all over the internet. Because George is so pissed that he actually spoils Season 3 of House of the Dragon in this blog post, which he has now deleted, obviously, but yeah, that happened. I'm gonna skip through the butterfly stuff, because it pretty much goes on a typical George R. R. Martin rant about another movie that he likes. But anyway, spoilers from here on out. You've been warned. Those of you who hate spoilers should stop reading here. Spoilers will follow, at least for the readers among you. If you have never read Fire and Blood, maybe it does not matter, because all I'm going to spoil here are things that happen in the book that may never happen on the series. Starting with Maelor himself. Sometime between the initial decision to remove Maelor, a big change was made. The prince's birth was no longer just going to be pushed back to Season 3, he was never going to be born at all. The youngest son of Aegon and Helena would never appear. Most of you know about the butterfly effect, I assume. That's where he goes on this rant about, the butterfly movie, where each action has implications for the future, and the grand thing doesn't really make sense. It crumbles down because of changes to the source materials, what he's implying here. He goes on, Maelor is a 2-year-old toddler in Fire and Blood, but like our butterfly, he has an impact on the story all out of proportion to his size. The readers among you may recall that when it appears that Rhaenyra and her blacks are about to capture King's Landing, Queen Alicent becomes concerned for the safety of Helena's remaining children and takes steps to save them by smuggling them out of the city. The task is given to 2 knights of the Kingsguard. Sir Willis Fell is commanded to deliver Princess Jaehaera safely to the Baratheons at Storm's End, but Sir Rickard fares less well. While Maelor is given over to Sir Rickard Thorne to be escorted across the Mandra to the protection of the Hightower army on his way to King's Landing. Willis Fell delivers Jaehaera safely to the Baratheons at Storm's End, but Sir Rickard fares less well. He and Maelor get as far as Bitterbridge, where he is revealed as a Kingsguard in a tavern called the Hawk's Head. Once discovered, Sir Rickard fights bravely to protect his young charge and bring him to safety, but he does not even make it across the bridge before some crossbows bring him down. Prince Maelor is torn from his arms, and then, sadly, ripped to pieces by the mob fighting over the boy, and a huge reward that Rhaenyra has offered for his capture and return. Will any of that appear on the show? Maybe, but I don't see how. The butterflies would seem to prohibit it. Sorry for my pronunciation. I'm German. I'm doing my best. The butterflies.
A long post.
Oh yeah. By the way, if you're making it through that, congrats. You don't have TikTok brain. You could perhaps make Sir Rickard's ward be Jaehaera instead of Maelor, but Jaehaera can't be killed. She has a huge role to play as Aegon's next heir. Could maybe make Maelor a newborn instead of a 2-year-old, but that would scramble up the timeline, which is already a bit messy. I have no idea what Ryan has planned, if indeed he has planned anything, but given Maelor's absence from episode 2, the simplest way to proceed would just be to drop him entirely, lose the bit where Alicent tries to send the kids to safety, drop Rickard Thorne, or send him with Willis Fell so Jaehaera has 2 guards. From what I know, that seems to be what Ryan is doing here. It's simplest, yes, and may make sense in terms of budgets and shooting schedules, but simpler is not better. The Bitterbridge scene has tension, suspense, action, bloodshed, a bit of heroism, and a lot of tragedy. Rickard Thorne is a tertiary character at best. Most viewers, as opposed to readers, will never know he's gone, since they never knew him at all, but I rather liked giving him his brief moment of heroism, a taste of the courage and loyalty of the Kingsguard, regardless of whether they are black or green. The butterflies, and this is where it gets spicy. This is the real part that really, gets people talking right now.
This is the tea.
This is the tea, yeah. The butterflies are not done with us yet, however. In the book, when word of Prince Maelor's death and the grisly manner of his passing reaches the Red Keep, that proves to be the thing that drives Queen Helaena to suicide. She could barely stand to look at Maelor, knowing that she chose him to die in the Sophie's Choice scene, and now he's dead in truth, her words having come true. The grief and guilt are too much for her to bear. And Ryan's outline for season 3, and he actually spoiled season 3 out of nowhere. And we have to talk about just the madness, the fact that happened in a minute. In Ryan's outline for season 3, Helaena still kills herself for no particular reason. There's no fresh horror, no triggering event to overwhelm the fragile young queen. And the final butterfly follows soon thereafter. Queen Helaena, a sweet and gentle soul, is much beloved. It's much beloved by the small folk of King's Landing. Rhaenyra was not. So when rumors began to arise that Helaena did not kill herself, but rather was murdered at Rhaenyra's command, the commons are quick to believe them. That night, King's Landing rose in bloody riot. I wrote on page 506 of Fire and Blood. It is the beginning of the end for Rhaenyra's rule over the city, ultimately leading to the storming of the Dragon Pit and the rise of the Shepherd's mob that drives Rhaenyra to flee the city and return to Dragonstone, and to her death. Maelor by himself means little. He's a small child, does not have a line of dialogue, does nothing of consequence but die, but where and when and how, that does matter. Losing Maelor weakened the end of the Blood and Cheese sequence, but it also cost us the Bitterbridge scene with all its horror and heroism. It undercut the motivation for Helena's suicide, and that in turn sent thousands into the streets and alleys, screaming for justice for their murdered queen. None of that is essential, I suppose, but all of it does serve a purpose. It all helps to tie the storylines together, so one thing follows another in a logical and convincing manner. What will we offer the fans instead, once we have killed these butterflies? I have no idea. I do not recall that Ryan and I ever discussed this, but when he first told me they were pushing back on Aegon's second son, back when he first told me they were pushing back on Aegon's second son. Maelor himself is not essential, but if losing him means we also lose Bitterbridge, Lena's suicide, and the riots, well, that's a considerable loss. And there are larger and more toxic butterflies to come if House of the Dragon goes ahead with some of the changes being contemplated for Season 3 and Season 4. Whew, I made it. Long as pause. Cheers.
My boy just read for like a good, I don't even know how many minutes, and you got through it pretty easily.
And holy shit, we never had this many people live. Hey, how's it going, guys? How's it going?
I was trying to keep chat entertained as well. But
yeah,
a lot of spicy takes.
What happened? What happened between Ryan and George? What went wrong?
Well, Ricky, I'm going to give you a visualization as to what went wrong. You see, as you have on your screen right now, we have Fire and Blood, right? George wrote this, and this is, containing some of the material of the, the show.
Oh.
And so he's the author of that, which could mean he's going to have very strong feelings about what he wrote. And so you mix that with, well, the show also, they changed things from his book, and then they also did it poorly. So,
but history.
Oh God! Don't even start that off. Don't even start.
History. It's a history book. Come on. We don't know what happened. It's biased.
Shut up.
It's biased. No,
Ricky, don't start with me.
I'm gonna be real. I want to try, discussing this very nuanced. I don't want to,
Yeah.
Because I think this is very, very unprofessional from George R. R. Martin. Even he has every right to speak his mind, and we all thought that, if he's writing blog posts 3 pages long about the damned dragon sigil, the House Targaryen sigil, then of course he's gonna have problems with the adaptation. But this just feels like something that that should have been an email between the two guys. It should have stayed private, and now it doesn't make him look good. It doesn't make anybody look good, and I don't know. Again, he has every right, and I feel the same. Like, I started out season 2. I see, as we discussed many times before, I saw the episodes early, and I praised the first 4, at least the first 2, definitely. And I left the season not ever wanting to review the show again, because it feels like season 5 of Game of Thrones, in the sense that the first half of season 5 has the best portrayal of my favorite character, Stannis, and it ends with such crazy deviations that you just knew, wait a minute, you don't care about the stuff, you don't care about the stuff that makes me want to be here, And I feel like that's the same with House of the Dragon, and I think that is what really worries George at the minute. He's not in a really good space right now. That is known.
Very
a lot of friends dying, and obviously huge problems
his last blog post before this one, the very end of it ends with like, not been a good year. He's been very angry, stressed out, things like that. So it's quite clear he's just not had a good time.
Yeah, and then from his mind, it's like, oh, not this shit again. Not again. Why is this happening again? I've been through this. I watched, Dorne being butchered, and went way worse from there. But in my mind, this is just a cry for help.
I mean, the way I view it is kind of like, let's say, you put out a video, you put a lot of effort into it, and you get a lot of nice comments, and you get that one comment that's like just really bad. You know what I'm talking about, Ricky?
Yeah.
And you type out a whole thing to respond to it, and then you just delete it. You don't actually send it, except in George's case, he actually made it public. That's the way I feel. It's like he's been holding it all up, and he's like, I'm finally gonna write it, and it's something that he should have wrote out just so he feels good, and then deleted it, but he didn't delete it.
Well, he's prone to rewriting stuff, so I
Oh yeah,
imagine
you're
there's
right.
gonna be a condensed version of that blog post up soon. But yeah,
Agreed.
um, but yeah,
I
the
mean,
craziest thing is that he's openly spoiled season 3. The fact that he revealed that, Helena was still gonna be, at least in the outline, still gonna kill herself in season 3 is crazy. That shows how pissed he really is. That how strongly he disagrees or how he feels. Excuse me. That's crazy.
I agree. I mean, I do think it's wild though because Ricky, we talked about this so much throughout season 2, and I would say up to episode 7. Like we were pretty much on this band that George R. Martin still likes the show, a good amount because he's not saying anything negative about it. He's actually saying positive things about it, and I think it's even interesting that in this blog post where we were waiting for the season and what he was going to say about it, he only really addressed like stuff that he'd already talked about. He just went further in on it, and he talked
Yeah.
about maybe the season as a whole. He didn't actually talk about any of the actual like issues that we
which
have
makes
with
it
like the later
seem like
episodes.
he was gonna follow up, with even more blog posts and even more
Yep.
of that stuff. By the way, Eric, hey, how's it going? Eric Nolan's here, a buddy of mine. Yeah, good lad.
But I mean, even if you want to go further, I just think it's the way George R. R. Martin talks in the season just makes you feel like he's completely now disconnected from House of the Dragon. As in, he's just not like. Whereas maybe we would have talked about with season 1 and season 2 is like he was very,
But we know
more
that he's
involved with
been
it.
in writers' rooms for season 3 and season 4. They mapped it out, at least, so he has the broad idea. And I think that's what he's really pissed about is the promise of Ryan Condal to include Maelor. They didn't include Maelor, and now he's really pissed about, all the repercussions because of that change. All the further changes that have to happen. It's about, and that's the thing that I always talked about. I didn't have a problem with changing the source material as just for the sake of changing it. You just have to compensate. For example,
Agreed.
when they've cut Lady Stoneheart in season 5, I was pretty much fine with it because I expected them to put more emphasis on how death changes our characters through Jon Snow. And I also thought that they might come up with something cool to do with Brienne and Jaime. Since that was not the case, Brienne and Jaime did a Westeros World Tour. And that's why it sucked. That's why, Lady Stoneheart being there would have been better. And that's the same thing here, I think. That's just, the consequences. Yeah. True, Eric. Yeah. Sorry, where was I? Lost my train of thought. Just the consequences of changing, the butterfly
Agreed.
effect, as George R. R. Martin said here.
It's just all those like small things that maybe you don't think are maybe that major, but eventually when you get down the line and some of these things aren't set up for huge events we have going on, like you talked about in the blog post. We're supposed to come to a point where Rhaenyra is going to lose King's Landing, and right now, like Rhaenyra has yet to be any type of character that's just straight up not likable, unless you go off the episode 7 thing where she basically has all the dragon seeds killed, more or less, which I think is just more bad writing than it is, an actual like good character moment or development, I guess. I just think it's a lot of those things where it's like I did a whole prediction video on season 3, season 4, all the things they have to cover. And there's so many things that feel like they are not developed yet, or there are things missing of how do we even get there. That I think that what you talk about, is right. It's like George might have some issues with season 2, but it's even worse when he's maybe in these rooms and he's hearing about, oh, how are they gonna do season 3, which is going to be a very important season.
It's what he says, right? And there are larger and more toxic butterflies to come if House of the Dragon goes ahead with some of the changes being contemplated for season 3 and 4. And McCavity on Twitter pointed out that the thing he probably means here is, the fact that House Targaryen still has a dragon at the end of the Dance of the Dragons. That's crazy.
That's crazy. That shouldn't happen. That completely just takes away from what the dance is supposed to be.
Yeah, the losing of the dragons, the cost of war, and I feel like by cutting Nettles and giving her storyline to a spoiled kid, spoiled highborn, it just doesn't work. And I've been super kind all the way through season 1, season 2, Rhaenys bursting through the floor, whatever, yeah. Stupid moment, but whatever. Overall, pretty great, look at what they've done with Viserys. But yeah, it's not looking good, and I won't review the show going forward. I'm just looking forward to Dunk and Egg. Hearing good things about that.
Our hopes lay on Dunk and Egg now.
Oh no, the stuff I can't talk about, but the stuff that I heard it's pretty damn good. Pretty good.
I'd hope so. It has much better, the ability to adapt from A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. That stuff would be much easier. It's much more of a narrative story. So I'd hope so. I'd hope so that it'd be good.
Right. If they, I'll just, I don't know. What else am I gonna cover? I meant to say Rings of Power, House of, Lord of Rings, but
oh, don't go there.
What else is there? But yeah, nah. I can't even imagine, or I don't even want to imagine them fucking up Dunk and Egg. That would be crazy. That would be insane. Just the book is perfect. The short stories are perfect for adaptation. So yeah,
but don't put some nonsense White Walker stuff in it, okay? That's all we're saying.
That's the first season. The first scene.
Oh man.
Arlen.
First scene. Oh no.
Arlen has the vision of the White Walker.
Oh god.
His dad was his ancestor was the Night King. The first man that was tying it to the scene they had of the Children of the Forest plunging this dagger of dragon glass into the chest of that poor first man dude. That's Sir Arlen's ancestor.
We gotta stop talking about these things.
We also have a whole episode,
and eventually it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Oh man,
but Ricky, this is the type of stuff we joked about going into season 2, and then it happened. So
that is actually
true. All I'm saying.
The amount of praise I gave them for, the human heart in conflict with itself, and it's all resolved with White Walker shit, which very much goes against that whole idea of changing, of being able to change, being able to become a better character, having character development. No. It's magic. Yeah. So that's how, as shitty as it is, that George put up this blog post, and I think he's unprofessional. It kind of also validates some of the issues that I have. I feel like, he never came out and mocked, serious Jesus. He never came out and spoke ill about Thrones. So he must be furious at the minute, and he has seen stuff that made him write this blog post. Because he mentioned season 3 and season 4, and my god.
Yeah, I don't even. I mean, this is what's crazy though. Is it's like Ernest brought this up in chat. This blog post could have been so much worse. Like.
Oops. He left, but he's gonna be back in just a second here. Hold on, guys. Eric, we can't hear or see you. Now you're back.
Oh god.
You just left for no reason.
I just left.
Where did you go? Where did you go?
You see, HBO tries to shut me down when I start talking bad about them.
Was that you imitating Rhaena?
Yes.
This just gonna keep happening all throughout the stream, like 10 seconds random ass scenes of you just leaving.
No, this is what happens. There was one stream after HBO, or not, after House of the Dragon finished up. It was kind of after it. Power went off right in the middle of the stream. HBO's trying. They're trying to cancel me. They should worry about George. They seem like they have more problems right now.
Oh, yeah.
Or Eric Nolan took me out. There can only be one.
Oh, well, I wouldn't mess with that guy.
He's going to take me out.
Oh, yeah, he's been a wildling extra and an extra in Vikings. And
oh my
he's
God,
about 700 foot tall, and I don't know.
Oh god, dude, I'm not. Oh no, I gotta keep a low profile.
Yeah, Trial Boss 7.
Yeah, we didn't even get a mention of Nettles in. I don't think in the blog
Well,
post.
that's the.
So.
I think that is the big thing that he mentioned, because we had that thing of, dragons not being able to roam around the Vale and stuff, which I think is silly. But I get the implications of Nettles not being there being a problem. A dragon roaming around the Vale, I don't care. A Drogon is roaming around the Dothraki Sea. Whatever. It's
It's something.
Yeah. It's something, yeah. I just feel like he's pissed off, and he has every right to be pissed off, but no. Just don't. So I see the other way around too, right? Fire and Blood, in my opinion, is not that much of a good book. We've talked about this many times. I don't think it's anywhere near Dunk and Egg or Song of Ice and Fire. And if he wanted to have something, a show to follow it so incredibly closely, he should have just written it in POV style, which again is not possible through him having to deal with winds. And I'm glad that he didn't write it with through POV. But I'm just not that attached to the story as much as I am with the main book series. So I think I see the other way around too. I think the book is not necessarily bad, but in order to make it even remotely entertaining, you have to add to it, which is something I talked about all the time during season 1, and I praised them for the Viserys stuff that they've put in. It's just now, with the green seeing of Helena and how that's dealt with, that just, doesn't really make sense. It's not really a Song of Ice and Fire. That's kind of my biggest issue, comes from, this weird addition of the White Walkers and this weird handling of the way green seeing works, which, just doesn't work like that at all. Her projecting herself into another vision from a random ass balcony without ever having training, or by explaining that kind of stuff, you only have to deviate even further now. Because what's gonna happen now is there gonna be another three-eyed crow that guides her? Is there how do you explain that shit? Just that's not why we're here. It's not like, I never imagined myself talking about this kind of stuff when talking about an adaptation of the Dance of the Dragons, which is just the prime example of how brutal war is, and George R. R. Martin's anti-war theme. That's the shines here, because both sides suck, and that's kind of gone now. Who sucks in the show apart from Aemond, who randomly became a mass murderer in the span of a couple of episodes after them trying to make him more likable, make him, add more depth to him. They just threw it out of the window and say, yeah, let's go burn these 1,000 people. I don't care. Who's off screen too? Yeah, don't get me wrong.
Major plot development for the character, and it happens off screen.
I'm sorry, I killed my brother Luke. My brother. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about my cousin. I didn't want to kill him. Then 3 episodes later, he just burns a whole village to ground. Man, Oh, D. Charles joined us. House of the Dragon is hopeless to me at this point. My expectations are as low as they could ever be. Yeah, man. And I feel like all of us 3, we defended this till the end. And I'm not, one of those channels that, put up some bullshit ass thumbnails, and, make 300 videos about Brie Larson and about how Kathleen Kennedy is slowly going to ruin everything and whatever the fuck. I don't give a damn about any of that. I just want the shows to be good, and if they aren't, I'm just gonna bounce and focus on the books. And that's what I'm really looking forward to, focusing on the books, because it's been a while.
Yes, sir. Has been a little bit of a while. I will say though, going back to the talk about Fire and Blood and adapting it and all that stuff. I honestly don't think it would have made a difference. I don't think if Fire and Blood, like, let's say if it was like POV, it was like made out as a POV story. We took what we initially think happens in the dance and you put it with POVs. I don't think it would have mattered. I mean, there's just like season 2 has clear, just basic factual stuff wrong, or the writing is just, how do we get to one event to the other, and it's just just bad. Like the conclusion for multiple characters, regardless of okay, it was supposed to have 10 episodes, is just bad. So it's like I
I
don't even
don't
know like what to say because it's like at this point it's like I can't because they kind of already started making their own canon and then they took those changes they made from Fire and Blood and they kind of just ruined them. So I don't know.
see. I don't even get the narrative that it would have been better if they had 2 more episodes, because those 2 more
I don't
episodes
either, but
would have been battles and CGI wonder things and yoo a dragon and explosion, boom. I don't. That's not why I'm here. You know, that's not the stuff that I'm here for. And now, after they've, or at least to me, can only speak for myself. Now that they've ruined it for me, you know, the part that was most looking forward to, the politicking, the propaganda. I don't care about all of these characters. If anything, I only care about Aegon because he's such a phenomenal actor, and I really liked Aegon this season, which I didn't anticipate. I'm not a Green support, I never was, but I guess now I am.
lies. He's been a great supporter since day one.
No, not at all. Corlys and Rhaenys are my favorite characters in Fire and Blood, at least from this time period. And in the show, they weren't all that. So I was never really drawn to the Black's side because of that. Because, you know, right from the get go, all they ever talked about was, the succession, the queen who never was. Yeah, wasn't much of a character.
She could have been queen.
Yeah, and she could have also not jumped or burst out of the fucking floor and then acted like a fucking saint.
Hey, you know, sometimes you just got to kill a couple people,
Yeah.
and then it's just never referenced again.
True.
So it's fine. Also, I saw this comment. I wanted to bring it up, but Philip said, and I think this is a massive hot take, but the drop in quality in Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon is ultimately on George R. R. Martin for not finishing the book so he could focus more on the shows. I could not disagree more with that statement. Game of Thrones season 5 is supposed to be an adaptation of Feast and Dance. They have the source material. They did nothing with it. House of the Dragon, I mean, if he's more involved with House of the Dragon, he was giving them his thoughts, like the Maelor stuff, and Ryan Condal was going a different way. Like his whole blog post is about basically the disagreements that he might have had with things that they did. Yeah. So I don't think him finishing the books had anything to do with the quality of those shows dipping.
Game of Thrones just took a way more just a more cinematic route after season 4, and especially after Hardhome, that catapulted the show into something else. It wasn't really a Song of Ice and Fire anymore, and you know, they had a lot more to adapt. There's no Aegon, there's no Jonkon, there's no Victarion. The list goes on. There's no real Dorne at all. So there's stuff that they could have adapted. To be fair, down the line, they would have had to make up their own stuff, but that's not really an argument since they just abandoned it and made their own stuff up anyway. So, you know, that's not really an argument. But George is, how could you sit there and say that, after 12 or 13 years of Dance with Dragons, Winds of Winter not being out, act like, George is somehow, I don't know. It's a weird thing. It's a weird mix at the minute. I hope that we get Winds of Winter eventually. That's all I want at this point. Just, the stand book. One day.
I will say, I as much as I know we're talking about George R. R. Martin, all the stuff going on and all that, I will say, I do feel really bad for him. And, I feel like everywhere I go that has anything to do with George R. R. Martin, it's just him getting like publicly insulted or on anything he does that he's excited about. And it's just like, if you're a fan, I get having frustrations over Winds of Winter coming out, but I do not think on any level it is acceptable to actually just at any point just being insulting and all these things. And like, he got you into this story. He made you love these characters so much that you want Winds of Winter. And then you pay him back by spamming him the same messages all the time and just taking a piss out of him. Like, I don't know. Really,
that's just the internet, right? You would never
I know.
Insult an old man in real life. Like, just the concept of that is crazy, right? You walking up to an old man and insulting him for whatever. That's just crazy. Like, Don't you realize how crazy you are? It's definitely fine to be fucking frustrated at this point. I've been waiting for this damn book for over 10 years now. It's definitely fair to be frustrated and to voice that criticism, but it's always about how. And I hope that the A Song of Ice and Fire fandom doesn't turn into something as bad as the Star Wars fandom right now, because
it's all
that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah.
If you want to be in a fandom where it's just hate on whatever side you're on, it's just the Star Wars community.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I wouldn't even say I'm part of the Star Wars community anymore. I love Star Wars, but I'm not like actively, like I don't consume the newer Star Wars stuff because I just don't enjoy it.
Yeah, I only watch Andor because I really like that one. But apart from that, I'm out. I didn't watch anything past Mando. But yeah, no one will notice. But I actually made Star Wars content on this channel a couple of years ago. But then everything, the whole fandom and everything, I was like, nah, man. Just want to do Song of Ice and Fire stuff, since that's the fandom is way more open-minded and stuff. And then House of the Dragon season 2 was crazy. That was crazy.
I definitely get that.
We went from being insulted for being shills to being haters to being everything to calling me like real fucking bad words that I won't say here. It was crazy. Like, I don't know. It's a crazy time. It's a crazy time. And to be fair, George doesn't help it really with this blog post. I can only repeat myself here. I truly think that this was unprofessional.
I think the crux of it is, I think, like, for me personally, I agree with a lot of the things he's saying. I just don't think he should have put them out publicly.
Yeah, I agree with
pretty much everything he said. I agree. But it's one of those things where it's like, could this not have been handled privately? Like, it's just one of those things. Like I talked about at the very beginning of the stream, okay? There's a reason that usually YouTubers don't write out long paragraphs responding to hate comments, because it's like, oh, you see it, like, okay, I'm a little upset. You settle down and you move on.
He left again. So this really does happen again. Wait, guys, they can't hear you, by the way. You just vanished again, Mr. Reyna. Where's your sheep stealer? I'm just trying to get him back in, guys. There you are. What's going on? What are you doing, man? What are you doing?
I chalk it up to, we're so far away from each other.
Welcome back, Reyna.
Hey.
I'm still team random shots all throughout the stream. Just Reyna just walking and oh my god, there's a dragon.
Just have my backup picture. Have my backup picture just be Reyna being sheep dealer.
Oh, that can be managed. Man, HBO really trying to cancel Eric. Yeah, man, it's over for you. It's over.
Hey,
it's over.
By the way, for chat, who has said I have the Ring of Sauron, I do actually have two of them. I have like an actually good one, like it goes on my finger, and then I have another one that's like plastic, but still got two.
So how's that, by the way, at the minute? How's Rings of Power? I haven't catched up yet.
See, to me, I think a lot of other YouTubers think it's as bad as season 1. I don't think it's as bad as season 1. I think season 2's been an improvement, but that does not mean it's good. It still means it's pretty eh. It's pretty eh. It's still pretty eh. It's just got its bad moments. There's some things I'm like, yeah, that was pretty, interesting. That was better than season 1. But saying it's better than season 1 to season 2 is not much, because I had season 1 as some of the worst like content I've ever watched or consumed. So
wow.
If you're somebody that really, really cares about the source material, and that is a deal breaker, you cannot watch this show if it doesn't go anywhere near the source material, you still won't like this show. It is nowhere near the source material. It's way worse than House of Dragon season 2 if you're looking at just following source material.
Oh, okay. Yeah, watching Yellowstone at the minute, that's really good show.
That's good. We need positivity around here.
Yeah, let's talk about what's there to talk about.
I started my Clash of Kings reread. That's pretty positive.
I saw that. Yeah,
my favorite book. So I'm really excited.
yeah, Maester Crescent. Did you start?
Oh yeah, dude. Crescent. That it came out yesterday, but man, like me doing the notes for that chapter took so long because it's easily the longest chapter I've covered so far on the reread. Like out of a Game of Thrones, most of the chapters are like pretty short, but not Clash of Kings. We start out with a bang. We start out with a longie.
Yeah, I plan on rereading soon too. It's been a while. It's been a couple of years since I've done that, so gotta
definitely should
get back on the grind. Been a while. Looking forward to it because I feel like if stuff like this happens, if there's so much negativity, we should just focus on the good things, and that those are the books. They're untouched. There's nothing that you can, it's debatable. A few things. I personally not a big fan of Quentin Martell as a whole concept, apart from
good man, Ricky, good man. My chat tries to tell me I'm insane for hating Quentin.
No, I get what he's trying to do, the reverse hero's journey kind of thing, where doesn't end up too well, but I don't know. But yeah, should do more book stuff from here now.
Hey, Ricky, my rereads are my therapy series. They don't get views, but I enjoy doing them. That's all that matters. By the way, some people in chat brought this up, so I thought it'd be interesting. Yeah, in Rings of Power Season 2, they've made the orcs somewhat, or they're trying to make them somewhat, like, sympathetic. So, they're making the orcs sympathetic. Like we're talking about Game of Thrones. Like if we were going to put, like, orcs in Game of Thrones, right? They're trying to do, like, Aegon. They're trying
to make orcs like
the orcs are the evil.
The like monster things, right?
They literally are corrupted elves and shit. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, oh my god.
Okay.
Hey, Grease's patch face still fucking creepy. Oh, he's still creepy. He just walks up and he's like, "Hey, the shadows are gonna dance tonight, and you're gonna die, Crescent."
That's who would win in a fantasy matchup, Daemon with Caraxes or Darth Vader? Darth Vader's suit is resistant to fire, so.
Also, I don't know how strong his force is, but if his force can just catch the dragon and then just, like, pound it in the ground a couple times.
Long neck, so definitely prone to getting force choked.
That's true. That's true. Also, you can do a lightsaber throw and just whoosh, cut its head off just like that. And then what's Daemon gonna do? Now you're looking at a dude with a lightsaber and the force, and Daemon's got a cool sword and things, but I don't know.
D. Charles says, Duncan Egg rereads with Harry Lloyd audio has been great. I'm worried about the adaptation a lot. So I've heard a lot of good things. I know a few things that I'm not allowed to talk about right now, that at some point we're gonna go very much in depth. But so far, everything I've heard or potentially have seen leads me to believe that they, just based on what they've cast and tried to do, they focused on the right characteristics, and they are focusing on the small folk POV a lot, which is something that I am a small folk enjoyer, so I definitely am looking forward to that. But I can't speak about it in terms of everything. Just the basic how they've cast it, how they've a few scenes here and there, and
also, it's going to be Charles. I want to point out.
Sorry.
Best reread, best audiobook that I have ever listened to is the Duncan Egg one. Harry Lloyd's just does a fantastic job. I'll continue.
So, the scene, "Are there no true knights among you?" will be epic. That's all I can say. Jesus V. Ricky, you will be happy to know I am up to see Eustace Oscar response to clogging of the dam. All right. How are you doing, by the way? It's been a while. You should take after George and make a blog posting about all the Duncan Egg spoilers. I can't and I won't.
No, it's about the character growth. Ricky's got to have restraint.
Maelor the Missing.
Oh, God. If you see a video titled Maelor the Missing from Ricky in the next month or two, oh god.
No, I didn't plan on coming back this year, apart from one more video, a discussion, which funnily enough, it's a discussion about adaptation from book to screen with someone called The Longest Night. He has a Game of Thrones podcast on Spotify.
Awesome.
And I always saw his tweets about, he was very vocal about his defense of season 8 and stuff. So he really enjoyed the ending of Game of Thrones and everything. And I felt like, with me being so angry about, about the adaptation, let's talk about with someone who is the complete opposite now that I'm, heading off, not making House of the Dragon reviews anymore. So I felt like that was a great video. That's the only video that will be uploaded this year, because I'm just too busy with theater, short films coming up and stuff. Next year's gonna be a good year. I won't say anything yet. I'm not gonna say anything yet, but
ooh, this is a good question. Ricky, what's your favorite of the 3 novellas?
It's hard. But I think it's gotta be the third one.
I'm a big fan of the first one, so we're different on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine the first one is the one that they're gonna deviate the most from, just showing Arlen at the beginning and showing the relationship of them and stuff. But that is all small folk POV, so I hope that really gets to shine. So that is the one that I'm looking forward to the most in terms of the adaptation.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting. I'm excited to get some Blackfire stuff.
Yeah.
Especially because, I can actually have some like Blackfire images to pull from for a Blackfire series I'm doing. It's like so bad trying to find stuff from like the Fire and Blood Part 2 era of stuff.
Well, personally, I'm looking forward to the White Walker dream sequences by Daron.
Okay, you gotta stop. You gotta stop.
Drunken.
You gotta stop.
Aaron the Drunken.
Also, for all the Blackfire enjoyers, I did finally get some Blackfire stuff in the back.
Ooh, yeah.
I know people have been asking for it, so it's there.
Now you've really upgraded your background there. Looks great.
Yeah, I made my webcam go to the wider frame. I used to have it more compact, but yeah.
Yeah, it works good. Works well.
And we both got the same display in the back, so quality. That's how you know we're connected.
So, what else is there to talk about? Let me look at the blog post real quick. Let me look at. Have you covered everything? I mean, Maelor being cut by itself, I don't have that much of a problem with. It's the fact that there's nothing that compensates it, In that case, it can't really compensate, right? Because there's all these ripple effects on the story going forward. And then the fact that he just spoiled Helena, if that even happens now, because he was pissed about them, Orion telling him that Maelor was gonna be in. He's not in. That's why he's pissed. So they might change Helena's future as well. They might change it.
Charles, I get what you're saying, and unfortunately, I also have the same concerns, especially because we know there's multiple characters during this time that could have been getting dreams like that, especially Daron. So I also have those concerns, but hopefully, doesn't happen.
It's gonna happen. Especially,
why do you gotta ruin my hopes? Why you gotta ruin it?
If the show goes forward and it's well liked, and they do like 6 seasons, 6 short seasons, and they pick up until Summerhall, you just know that he's gonna sacrifice everything and do a ritual because of the White Walkers.
Yep. They're gonna take away from being the fact that,
and that by
his
itself
reign seems unsteady, or his kids aren't doing what he wants them to do. He feels like they need the dragons back to stabilize their reign. They're gonna take away from that whole aspect of it, I guess. But
yeah, and then Rhaegar is born, and he is the the father and brother to Azor Ahais. Because I personally, I think both Dany and Jon play a role. Even though in Game of Thrones they obviously don't, and that's what they're connecting it to, which doesn't make sense. But, it is what it is, so. yeah. George Phillips says, George said he wanted to write about Duncan Egg and Dorne taking place between the existing books. Guess there's no chance of that being adapted. I guess they could. They could do that. Visit Tanzel. They could also, I mean, the She-Wolves of Winterfell is fairly far in terms of being done. So I guess they're gonna pull from that. But then again, we might just watch another first season, which has, you know, all these great moments. We appreciate him. And then, then out of nowhere, I don't know, Dunk mentions his hatred of the small folk, and we're like, what's going on here? So at this point, I don't know, man. Question for Ricky and Eric: have you ever considered vlog style videos? No, not really, to be honest. I'm not much of a. I feel like I'm fairly introverted. Despite doing theater and everything, I can't imagine myself going around with like a camera and a gimbal and be like, "Hey guys, so whatever." And I don't know. That's not really me. That's
doing things in public, man. That just
man, it was weird setting up a camera in general and talking into this camera, and then guys out there seeing me yap about dragons and shit. So that was a big step. So let alone talking, you know, while people look at me silly and this guy doing here.
I will say, but vlog stuff, my life is not interesting enough right now to do vlog stuff. This is what you would see me going to college, coming home, edit some videos, grind to get you guys 4 videos a week, and then go to sleep. Maybe watching something at night.
Yeah, me neither, man. Apart from theater, but that's not really like the process of rehearsals. I feel like it's just not. It's interesting if you're into that kind of stuff, but for outsiders, man, you just look at what's going on and you're like, what are these guys doing? Like, what the hell is that? But now he's leaving again. It's the 3rd time, guys. I'm telling you, this is HBO. HBO is on Eric's ass for whatever reason. What have you done, Eric? I can't hear you, by the way, because you're not there. There you are.
All right, hold on.
Oh no, he's going
back on the screen.
Where's Sheep Stealer?
Sheep Stealers. Other places. Oh, just off screen.
What I can say, guys, is all I'll say is I'm making short films. I'm a big fan of the A Song of Ice and Fire universe. Just
and Ricky, we trust.
Tiny Screen Tales, by the way, we've put out our very first short that we're very proud of just a couple of months ago. And we're filming another one in 2 months. Looking forward.
Check out the first one. It was fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm not getting paid for this, so you know that it's fantastic.
He's getting paid for it. Yeah.
Shut up! Don't tell him that. Then it's not as genuine.
That's true. What else do we have in chat? Because I feel like, especially at the beginning, I was just yapping and reading, and then
we had to get it. We got to get it out there because you can't view it anymore unless you find like people's screenshots or whatnot.
Yeah, true. So I hope HBO doesn't come at us for reading something that was put on the internet. So if that happens, whatever, man. At this point, just strike me down, and I shall become more powerful. You can possibly imagine, bro. I don't give a fuck.
Okay, so there's 2 topics here that I've seen in chat. Thoughts on the Aegon's Conquest show. And then the other one was talking about nettles. But
so the nettles thing, as I've mentioned before, I think it's not a good decision. It makes sense from budget reasons, and there was always that option of nettles being Daemon's daughter, and this is something that they'll use in order for Daemon to be more sympathetic. And Ryan Condal mentioned that. I've watched a couple of minutes of the podcast that the official Game of Thrones channel put out today, and he talked about how they are making changes. He was kind of avoiding the questions about nettles, but they're making changes to fit they want to fit that into Daemon's storyline. It's about Daemon more than it is about Nettles, and that they're trying to take that stance, I guess, but they're completely ignoring the small folk aspect of it, and that's a dangerous thing in a show that's so focused on Westeros suffering because of these idiots.
As Rhaena myself, I have to say it was quite a positive change. As I got sheep dealer now. And, whoa, we haven't gotten her yet. Wait, hold on.
Do the face.
That was a spoiler.
Do the face. Do the face.
No,
do the face.
I can't do this. I can't do the face. I can't do the face.
Do it.
That's paid content only. You got to get premium for that.
Oh God,
I'm gonna do it at random part of this stream when you're talking, and I'm gonna make you go back. Like, oh, I did the face. It was just at a certain point of the stream. I'm not gonna tell you the time, but you got to watch all the way through.
Well, I prepared something in case you just wander off into the wilderness again. But nobody will give a fuck about you. You're only a Targaryen prince.
Yeah,
that's exactly. They always wander the fucking Vale.
Yeah, they just kind of wander.
That's
around.
normal.
I'm gonna be like Allison going on a camping trip. Nobody will know.
You see, that's so. Those are the kind of things that I appreciate as, visual storytelling. I feel like they've done a lot of that in season 2, and the camping thing isn't not really about camping. It's about her, wanting to live again, seeing a new future. But in context of what she's doing in the show, it doesn't make sense. But by itself, it works pretty well. If only she weren't, if only she didn't open the fucking gates then. And she's probably, by all we know, she's probably gonna poison Aegon herself. Right? That's what happens. Yep. She poisons her own fucking son.
Okay, Ricky, okay. We're going to play a little game. You have to finish this quote. Matthew says, Ricky, you want the good girl, but what is the finish of the quote?
You need the bad pussy. Jeez.
That would have been great.
We're not. That's another thing. The dialogue. We're not at that level yet.
Yeah, we're not that bad yet.
There's positives.
There's a silver lining.
Yeah.
It only comes at the cost of Daemon and Allison's character.
Tomorrow we'll be reading this headline: HBO fires George R. R. Martin. Yeah, if they wanted the show to get cancelled, then fuck yeah, go ahead. Open that fucking. Yeah, don't.
Hey, Ghost. Rhaena is not forgettable. She's probably the best character in the show right now. So I don't even want to. Let's not dive into that. I might have some, connection to Rhaena because I, also disappear a few times and I come back at, certain other times. But
which is very weird. It keeps happening. I don't know why.
I just think it's a connection thing, since we're so far away from each other. Yeah, that would be my guess. But
whoa, what happened? I have no idea what this is, guys. I can't. Something weird is happening. There was a picture there that shouldn't be here. I have no idea. Something came up, but anyway. But Reese, did you give sheep?
I'm a little delayed. I'm like watching the stream. I'm rewatching it now. Oh
no! But Reese, did you give sheep? Yeah, you gotta get Elena to recover your connection.
Elena's what's taking me out of the connection.
We're all part of this.
Hold on, I'm still
you're part. Just gotta find a random ass balcony to like be able to do fucking things that Bran Stark can't even do at this point of the fucking main book series.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we need to keep Helena away from very high places. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh man, you see, I was quite fond of the portrayal of her character. I like the actress really, really good. A lot of stuff happens in these last 2 episodes where I just, well, I have no idea what what that was. And it's like it's written by different people, right?
Maybe it is. Ricky, you're talking a whole lot about this White Walker stuff and how it's going to be in the show and it's confirmed. You're making a lot of jokes before the season started. It's very suspicious. You start writing your own stuff. Very sus.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a show about the White Walkers.
You also said you were the Night King in a past video.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's all on tape.
A legit theory, so
it's all on tape. F. Well, it's out. Now you know me. If you know me, then let's say I were to make a Game of Thrones, not Game of Thrones, a Song of Ice and Fire short film. You know, it's about the characters.
About Maegor.
I can't possibly do Targaryens because my wigs are gonna look even goofier than, you know, and I think House of Dragon kind of stretches it at some points. So
You've entered the goofing phase of the stream. What are you talking about? This is serious.
The goofing phase.
This is serious stuff.
What are you talking about? This is serious.
We're talking about Rhaena.
Yeah. Like, how could this not be? I don't know what's happening. Once again, I have no idea what's happening, guys.
As Ghost said, Rhaena is coming. That's all I got to say. Amen. You're preaching to the choir.
That was really weird. This stuff keeps happening, and I have no idea what.
You know what's crazy? Anyway. Stuff keeps happening, but I can't even see it until about 5 seconds later. Oh, there it is. Stuff keeps happening again. I see. Yeah. I see.
Weird.
You know, that's craziness.
Oh man, they're turning into a shitpot. See, this is the thing. Streaming with you, man, and I really enjoy it because you know we share our pain. And then we just
a lot of pain.
It's just.
It's gonna be more pain if Dunkin' Egg's bad, but it's not for me.
God.
I'll still have pain, but it'll be Ricky's major pain.
Spoilers for Dunkin' Egg. Rhaena is still alive by the time of Dunkin' Egg and is a follower of R'hllor, wearing an appearance necklace that makes her look young. She leads the Burn Men. Okay. No. No.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's
something.
Sad boy moments, you know?
Sad boy moments. It's HBO trying to claim this YouTube channel. Well, they might as well. I don't give a damn anymore.
They can try. They will try.
You will try.
Yeah, we need more Bela. I agree.
Yeah, I like the acting on the show.
Give us Bela.
The acting on the show is better than on the original show, I think. If
100%. Not even close.
It's crazy. Emma Darcy, my God,
fantastic!
Such a great actor. Especially, it's a lot of theatrical acting. You know, a lot of emotions that are played. That's what I really like in contrast to Game of Thrones, where a lot of the emotions were lacking. You know, it was always this cold and this brooding. They convey emotion by focusing on a motionless face. A lot of the times. Best example of this, which since this day always pissed me off, is the fact that, you know, when Viserion dies, and then they focus on Emilia Clarke's face and stuff like, and they play sad music over this shit and make me like, what's happening here? Like, that is the direction that because you know,
why is John running at more White Walkers to attack?
A lot of great actors that were not used with their potential. Because Emilia Clarke had a phenomenal season 8. That was the best season for her. Sorry.
I think it's what makes it more frustrating about House of the Dragon, though. It's like the acting is so much better. There's so many good things about House of the Dragon, and then you just see very stupid writing decisions. And it's just like, you see all the potential in the world. And it's just, they're not putting it all together a lot of the times.
Yeah. Like the beginning of the season, episode 2, one of the best episodes in both Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon combined. It's just, even the author, even George R. R. Martin said that.
I think it had like top 3 for House of the Dragon episodes. So,
yeah,
I mean,
100%. What are your thoughts on Corlys building a ship for the whole season, man? Look, I've been looking forward to Corlys and Rhaenys the most, before season 1 aired. And I can't even put it into words how, disappointed I am. Especially since they have such great actors. Like Eve Best's Rhaenys commands the scenes, You have such a capable actress. And it's like, well, let's not get into that. Let's focus on the damn blog post. No, you still defend him. Yeah.
Wait. You wait. So you don't want to talk about Corlys and how he basically has no conversation with Rhaenyra the entire season? You don't want to talk
silly.
about that?
That's the silly stuff, That's like that's dumb as fuck. Like for all he knows, Laenor was killed by her and Daemon, and then is somehow just fine with being her hands. And Baela randomly gets to kind of put him into his place, even though that's his fucking son, and he thinks it was her. So. And then the decision to, they could have had a very interesting moment that could have set up something in the future where it's like, it should have been you. That moment from Fire and Blood. Stuff like that's just lacking. It's just missing. But yeah, the acting is not to blame. Steve Toussaint, phenomenal actor. I really loved.
This is my pitch for season 3, Ricky. Okay.
Oh no.
We're just gonna have it be Otto and Daeron fucking around in the Reach, and we just hear about the other events.
Oh, at this point, just give me Triarchy stuff all the fucking season long. Like, I don't care. I do care, obviously. Some point of me, I can't, I love this universe. I want to love the shows. I want to be immersed, and I want to enjoy it as much as I can. And I think the way I'll do it from now on is just I won't have this very critical eye. I want the reviews, write full on scripts for it, and then record it and try to really put my points across. And I'll just hop on here, discuss it, and enjoy it for the, I don't know, the Mummers Farce references and the winds. Words are wind and stuff like that, and I'm just gonna try to enjoy this as much as I can. And I won't annoy people who are definitely, who enjoy the show, and I'm not gonna become geeks and gamers or stuff like that, where it's just like, oh my god, this show sucks, man. And the fucking critical drinker was like, the show sucks. Another episode that sucks. Like, fuck off, man. If your whole channel is just fucking negativity, I don't care if I don't care about anything. You're just weird. Like, that's a miserable fucking life. This show fucking sucks. Disney and Kathleen Kennedy. It's all the fucking same things. Every fucking video is the same. Go fuck yourself, man. Sorry, that's my.
Somebody needs to clip this.
Nah, I fucking.
Can you tell Ricky's an actor? Look at these voice impressions. You see that? That was on the fly.
Yeah. I keep getting recommended these fucking stupid videos on these stupid channels.
You're basically at the point of where I am with Rings of Power. It's like I've lost. Like, I'll do a live stream, I'll talk about them just to talk about them, but I'm like, I'm so disconnected from the show. I'm just like, okay, it's its own canon now. I'm just gonna I don't care about the source material when I'm watching the show. I'm just gonna just watch it and see what happens. And I just I recorded a video for Rings of Power, the first 3 episodes. Just have no passion, no motivation to edit them at all. I'm just okay, I'm just screw it. We're just gonna do live streams. Maybe I'll cover each of the episodes. We'll just kind of chat the shit, and that's about it. But, yeah.
Yeah, it sucks because, man, you should have seen me. When I watched episode 8, I was sitting here and I paused it multiple times. I think it was Wednesday before it came out, or Thursday before it came out. I watched it and I just paused it and I just looked at it like, this is season 5. I've been here. Yep. And that's, I've been there. I finished reading the books before season 4 of Game of Thrones aired. And season 4 was the season where I caught up with Game of Thrones, and where I was expecting the stuff from the books happening, because I caught up with the books as well. And then season 5 happens, and the first 4 episodes leaked back then. All 4. So, we had 4 whole episodes, and it was fairly good. You know, the Stannis stuff at the wall was pretty good. I like the pacing. I don't think that's an issue at all for season 5. And episode by episode, a part of me died. A part of me, you know, oh well, Lady Stoneheart. Oh well, the Ironborn. Oh well, Dorne. Oh well, what the fuck is Jaime doing in Dorne? What? No, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I feel like it's the same for House of the Dragon now. And I'm not gonna make the mistake I made back then, which was always looking to defend it and then trying to, you know.
Ricky, but with season 5, you got a little bit of like a slow death. Like it was like one blade. It was like Jon Snow's death. You had one blade after the other. I feel like with House of the Dragon, like we didn't see it going that bad or going that way until like literally episode 7, episode 8, and it just was like decapitated. It was just, there was no blades going into you. It was just your head got cut off like Ned. You were just gone.
But it's so fundamental. The mistakes are, I don't, at least to me, those are mistakes.
They are sprinkled there.
Like the fundamental, it just fundamentally goes against the themes of A Song of Ice and Fire, in my opinion. And yeah, that's like I've pretty much removed myself for 4 weeks now from the channel, and I've had a lot of time to think about it and stuff. And I only ever, you know, it's getting worse and worse. I find myself, you know, dreading, you know, I dread this stuff. I'm just glad I have time for so much else now, so many other things. One more week of House of the Dragon season 2, and I might have just, I don't know, exploded midstream. Like
you would have had me. See, that's the opposite though. See, we took opposite approaches. You removed yourself. You gave her some time. I'm the opposite. I was like, okay, I'm very passionate about this. We're gonna make about 2 or 3 weeks versus videos about it, and then we're not gonna talk about it anymore.
So the thing, to kind of, I guess, wrap this up, Eric, George talks about the toxic butterflies for season 3 and season 4. What do you think he means by that?
I think there's a lot of them. I think you just look at the way the season ended. You look at, okay, you know, we don't have this moment where in Fire and Blood it's more Rhaenyra and Daemon outmaneuvering the Greens, and now it's, you just have it. Alicent is saying, here you go, Rhaenyra, just take the city, just take the castle, you know, whatever. I think a lot of it is to do with Nettles, because I think that plot will be drastically different than the books will be, and I think that's something that George was very passionate about, and I still think it's amazing to me because Nettles, out of all of the characters in Fire and Blood, Nettles is one of the most unique, because the whole story we hear about this Targaryen, and Nettles is one of those characters that we get as like a character that gets a lot of us the spotlight during the dance, and is extremely unique as being very common born and all these things. And removing that character, I think, for George is so fundamental of what the dance is about. And in season 2, they tried to, you know, show us the common people perspective through other characters like Hugh, Ulf, and all these other things. But I think that will be something that will be a butterfly. That is probably what George is talking about, because of how passionate he was.
It's the very theme of the small folk, you know, implemented into the story as a character. And that's what makes it so unique. Someone who's not highborn, someone who witnesses this as it is, you know, someone who didn't come up. And to be fair, there's Adam and Alan. But you know, the fact that the butterfly effect is the Targaryens will have a dragon by the end of this war, unless they change it again and have her be involved in the Battle of God's Eye. But God, no. Fucking don't change that at all. Why are we talking about these changes? Why are we talking about the White Walkers in a show that's about the atrocities that occur in order for House Targaryen's downfall down the line? You know, this is the foundation of that. This is, I don't know, just unnecessary. I didn't have a problem with it in season 1. And I get a lot of people saying, yeah, prophecy is important as Song of Ice and Fire. It is, undoubtedly. But not to the point where it takes over entire characters' motivation in a way where, you know, they go from like doing 180. There's a lot of prophecy stuff that you can do, and if you wanted to focus on the magical aspects here, why not do glass candles? That solves the Alicent and Rhaenyra meetups. Do glass candles, implement something that we've never seen in Game of Thrones, stuff like that. And then, man, do you remember in season 1 we talked so much about the Grandmaster conspiracy? Where is that now?
Yep.
Where is
Completely
that?
gone.
There's completely fucking gone. And that is something that I feel like if you wanted to go the magical route, you could have done it with the storming of the Dragon Pit. You could have done it with the Maesters being involved. You could have had a POV at Old Town and laid the foundations for that. And now it's just, I don't give a fuck. If you want to explain how Helena got access to that whole weird thing, well, you gotta now explain it through having a Free Crow show up and guiding her and stuff. And it's just, it leans into stuff that, you know,
it's a bunch of screen time that shouldn't be in the story.
Yeah, especially with 8 episodes, you know, because I've never heard of a show that after having an 8-episode season goes back to having 10 episodes a season. I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, it seems like they were already having budget issues. Ryan Condal has already basically said that the way this season kind of played out was going to be very similar to the future seasons. I don't see any situation where we go back to 10 episodes. I just don't think that's ever going to occur. And I don't know. I think for George, it's just so many of those things. It's you look at, okay, you know, maybe season 2 wasn't terribly far from the book, but it's so many like little things here that are very different in season 2 than in the book that have repercussions later on in the story.
Yeah, and he mentions
so by the time, you know, you get to season 4, it's not even George's story anymore. It's not even close to what George's story was. So,
and he mentions things being contemplated that, you know, just furthermore prove his point about the butterfly effect. That's something that he's really worried about now, and I think that's why he went out public with this, which I still think, repeating myself, kind of unprofessional, because, you know, it's just unnecessary PR. You don't need that kind of PR. This is something that you would want to discuss privately, and I guess he just doesn't have that pull anymore. Not as involved anymore, and he's afraid that another Game of Thrones thing happens.
Agreed.
Juve says, genuinely don't understand where the budget is going because most of the scenes are the same 3 places. Well, dragons cost a fuck ton of money. Just the production level is insane. The sets, building these sets and everything. Yeah.
The dragons themselves fighting. Like,
yeah, I mean, episode 7 was probably like a nightmare to in terms of, you know, budget.
Yep.
He also says he clearly has already discussed it privately. He definitely has. I mean, yeah, sure. Why?
Just not
it's
going
a cry
the way
for
he
help.
wants it to be.
It's a cry for help, basically. I think it's a listen to me. But spoiling things about season 3 is next level petty. There was no reason to mention that Ryan Condal wanted to have Helena die by suicide in season 3. There was no need for that.
Also, just dangerous to your like self, you know, because now, I mean, you're spoiling stuff that shouldn't be being talked about publicly. That's legal stuff starting to happen. It would be what I would be looking at. But
he immediately deleted the blog post. It's not up anymore. So I think they got him.
Like he realized it was a bad thing. He realized it. But I mean, I do agree though with something with like the budget though. If you don't want to like think about it, like there are some scenes where it's like you don't really need like for instance, I know me and you, Ricky, have talked about this. We don't like the scene that ends episode 7. That's a big budget like thing. You have Vagar and Aemon. You have all the dragons in the background. All that like
the 24-hour Soul Wing flight scene.
Yep.
There
are
8 hour,
like,
16-hour.
Would have been cooler to see other things with that budget. But again, a lot of people like episode 7, so this is more of a, I guess, a minority opinion. I know when we reviewed episode 7, we were in the minority on that one, Ricky, but
it had that Marvel feel.
Agreed.
And I don't like Marvel, so
I used to like Marvel.
I've seen Deadpool. and the OG Hulk movies when I was a small child, a toddler basically. That's about it. I've never seen like the Avengers things stuff.
See, I liked it all the way up until a couple years ago. I did like the Deadpool movie that just came out, but
didn't see that one yet.
It was very funny. It was a very enjoyable movie.
There were also a bunch of repetitive scenes whose money could have been spent elsewhere. Yeah, it's all about, it's all about mapping out the story. And they've made a decision and they stood by that. And they wanted to have 2 meetings of Rhaenyra and Alicent, who are the main characters of the show. And it is what it is, man.
In the past, we can't do anything about it now. But yeah, I think it's legit criticisms. But yeah,
definitely. Could never make a living off negativity and cringy thumbnails. Nah, man. I mean, it's probably very lucrative, It's the, I guess the trendy thing to do is just focusing on one thing and then just milking it to death. For my own sanity, I could never, I don't like House of the Dragon Season 2. I could now never do 10 videos in a row talking about how much I hate House of the Dragon. This stuff fucks with you mental. This is just you going about being an angry man. Just being angry and not, that's what's really weird to me. They're either really good actors, all of these YouTube boys, or they're just very miserable people. It's a very, very sad life, I think, to constantly focus on, whatever. I keep yapping about this, but it keeps being fed to me via YouTube recommendations and just roll my eyes. It's just fucking, no matter how many times you click on don't recommend me these fucking channels, it's always these fucking channels. And then yeah, thank you, no. But yeah, anything else we want to talk about today?
I don't think so.
Alrighty.
I think we got through the point of the blog post and all that.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. I've never had this many live viewers, by the way, so this is crazy. Even during House of the Dragon Season 2. So appreciate each and every one of you. If you care, if you want to subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Definitely go on over to Eric's channel as well. I'm gonna take a small break now. I will return for Duncan Egg prep and stuff, but yeah, this stuff just needed to be talked about, and I really wanted to make a live stream with you, Eric, to discuss this. Thank you for joining me.
Of course, and we'll be back when George does a Winds of Winter blog post in about a week.
Yeah.
We'll can only hope, guys.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for watching, and see you later.
Bye, guys.